Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're talking about Andor episodes 7, 8, and 9. And at first blush, I would say this would make a great ending for the story, the way that it has all worked itself out to this point. However, there are 3 more episodes coming next week that will more seriously glue us, I suppose, to the events of Rogue One. But the story told here is anything but slow, and I'm beginning to understand why it was so slow to begin with. I don't think that we would have cared about what happened to Mon Mothma if we had not had all the background. We wouldn't have reason to be suspicious of Luthen if it was glossed over too quickly. We wouldn't have reason to think that Andor was a true hero as he is, unless you've had these times where he can express the doubt, his willingness to do some things, but really kind of wanting to back out of it all. I think that the showing how people who worked for the Empire might not necessarily be evil, but just compromised in the persons of Dedra and Cyril. Dedra was a fairly high position in the military in which she could have a great deal of power, but before the end of everything, you could see in her that she was not completely believing the company line. And certainly Cyril, who was not informed of much of what he was there to do, starting to realize that and blaming Dedra for somewhat of it, felt kind of betrayed by such a thing. And even in that betrayal, when he walks out and finds Andor pointing a blaster toward where she's standing, he goes berserk and saves her life, although he gives his own life in the course of that scuttle. I was expecting all along that Wilman was going to get it, and I was surprised that he was able actually to survive all of this. And they show much more organization on Yavin. They show some of the influence of the Force, using it as a manner of healing, which I had personally not heard of before, which I thought was kind of interesting. Also, that gives us an excuse to have some indication of Andor's destiny. So what I think we've had here all along through these 9 episodes, in which there was plenty of action, certainly, in the last 3. We had, of course, the Empire-orchestrated revolt on Gorman and the singing of the national anthem there and the chants and being able to see everybody there. This was not like your usual Star Wars starfight where you're just picking off fighters like a video game. This is very much something where you can see these people and what they've sacrificed and what they believed in and what they thought, and you see them getting picked off one at a time, including some people that we have recognized over the past several episodes. It seems to me that they've done this kind of like a house of cards. You have to build it very carefully, very slowly, very incrementally, and you don't know what you've got until you finish it. And when you do, it makes it all worth something. And so I think that was what they were doing here. It was masterfully written. It was masterfully performed and directed. And casting was incredible. I can't imagine anybody looking more icy than Dedra, but then being able to show that she really did love Cyril and was hoping that all of this once done, would allow them to be together again. This was the same kind of thing that Andor was hoping for, that he and Bix would be together again. And it was almost like in Bix's recorded speech, almost like the final scene of Casablanca, but done in reverse. Where I'm going, you can't follow. In this case is, where you're going, I can't get in the way. But if you walked away, you would regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and so on. That's the kind of power I think that speech had. Very unusual for Star Wars, especially Mon Mothma's speech to the Senate, which she barely got done with before they cut it all off, but still very much a commentary on imperial rule. And while we've seen things in the movies and various other media for Star Wars, it usually brings us out a little soundbite, really. The point that was made in the first prequel episodes that we don't lose our freedom by being snatched away from us, we kind of give it away. And there's some of that, but it's treated much more thoughtfully throughout much of this. Without knowing what the last 3 episodes are, and it hardly matters anymore. They could just, have a big birthday party or something. I think that we've already put this show in on top of everything else Star Wars that we've ever seen. By taking it as a whole, let's say that it is a 12-hour movie, Wagner opera. We get to learn who all the characters are, why we should care about them, why the Empire got to be like it was, how the Rebel Alliance got built. All of this is like a great history lesson of something that never really happened, but what a story. What a classic. And I think that this will be on many people's list the best Star Wars there was. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Please put it in the comments below. We will, of course, have the 10, 11, and 12 reviewed next week, see what we come up with there. Certainly couldn't be any more exciting, any more action-oriented, more heartbreaking than what we've seen this week. We also are doing Doctor Who on Monday. We have our review for that, and on Wednesday we hear from, or Tuesday, one of those days, we'll have also another episode of The Rest of Us, The Last of Us, The Something of Us. So stay with us. If you have not subscribed, please do so. We'd appreciate that. And until we see you next time, don't go far.